Hey everybody, it is a lovely evening in May and we are so close to being done. I wanted to do a video about sinusoidal graphing. Okay, it sounds scary. It's pretty abstract, like to see the connections. But if you just, I want to say just trust me, I can make it pretty straightforward and okay for you. How's that? That's all I can promise. But I can promise you if you follow through, you know what, you're going to be able to do some very cool stuff. So, let me adjust my lighting a little bit. There, I think that looks better. Okay, so here's the scoop. What we have are two types of graphs we have to worry about. The first one is a sine graph. And by the time you're watching this, we've probably done this enough in class that you're pretty familiar with it. And it's the sine y is equal to sine x. So that's where the sinusoidal comes from. And it's a cute little graph. And it's in the middle of your page. And it starts in the middle. And it goes up. And it comes back down. And it goes back to the middle. So technically, all right, sorry about technically. The lighting was really bugging me. So I went and closed some blinds here. All right. So what do we need to know is our standard one. It has a maximum. It starts in the middle. So this is our midline. It has a maximum of 1. So I should put max there. And a minimum. And it does all of this. So it goes uphill and downhill. And I'm sorry, I'm hand sketching. It's not as good as it would be if I just stole it off Desmos. It does all of that in 360 degrees. So once it goes there, then it's going to go up and down, and it just keeps going on and on and on. It's a periodic function, which means it repeats itself. So that is the sine one. And to me, it looks like a roller coaster. And I can't remember if one of my students told me it or I made it up. I was thinking that to ride a roller coaster is a sin. It's not great, but it helps me remember what's going on. The other graph that you have to know, and there's no getting around this, because this whole last section is just variations on a theme, is the cosine graph. So y is equal to cos x. And the cosine graph also has a maximum of 1 and a midline of 0. So 1 and 0, minus 1. And a minimum. But this one starts at the top and goes up like that. So this is my roller coaster, that's a sin. And this one is my cousin that lives in the valley. It works for me. One of my students this year told me, well, this kind of looks like a C line on its side, which is true. If you take the C and you rotate it that way, that completely works. But for some reason, I've been saying it's my cousin that lives in the valley for so long. It works. Okay, so these are the very simplest graphs that we can have. And if we get fancy, no, we're not getting fancy yet. I'm just gonna spend the rest of this video looking at possible equations we could do. And there are our standard one. I guess it'd be the most general equation. A sine bx minus c plus d. And if you're thinking, no, it's okay. It's a little scary. What you need to know is A, B, C, and D are just numbers. It's not like we're throwing in that many variables at you. So this equation could look like y is equal to 4 sine 3x minus 90 plus 10. And that's what we're going to be analyzing. Not yet, but eventually. So what we need to do, and I think we're just going to practice one skill at a time, is we're going to find A, B, C, and D. And once we get good at that, then I'm going to explain to you what this stuff does, the A, B, C, and D, to these original equations. And it's probably easier than you think. Because if I have this written right here, I just go straight down. So A is equal to 4. And B is equal to 3. And C it's a long story, but you know what? Whatever sign is there, we're just going to take it with us. So this is minus 90. I'm going to put minus 90 over here. And D is 10. You can put plus 10 there, but watch for the negatives. Yeah, that looks horrible. Minus 90. At this point, don't worry about what ABCD do. I just want you to be able to look at the equation and be able to put the values. Let's try it again. I should have different colored highlighters to do this. But there you go, just straight down. So A is equal to minus 2. Take your sign with you all the time. And for the A and D, the sign is huge. So let's just take the sign with it. So the number out in the very front is A. It's negative 2. The number in front, so it's behind the sign, but in front of the X, that's going to be your B. C is going to be 180, and I'm running out of room, my bad. And D is minus 2. You know what? I'm just going to change my question. I'll make that 12. Make that, oh, that made a mess. So that later on, if somebody looks at this, they can see that no, the D is the one at the back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a bunch of these. You are going to pause the video. You're going to write them all out, or you can write them out at the same time I am. You're going to do them all, and then you're going to turn the video back on. Okay, I want you to pause the video. Whoops, I'll move that up so you can see better. And I want you to identify A, B, C, and D, and just put them over to the side just like I did. Please do it now. Okay, I zoom you back. So A is a number out in front. So you know what? It's 5. And here A is -7. And here A is equal to 12. But is it always a number out front? Yes. If you write this out the same way, and I can't think of any reason why I'm going to write mine all weird. I might do one trick question at the end of an assignment or at the end of a test to see if you can catch it. But generally, it's the number out in front. It'll be right in front of the word sign or coast. It can be coast too. All right, so B may or may not have a bracket, but it's going to be the number right in front of the X. So B is equal to 2. B is equal to 5. And B is equal to 9. There, and there, and there. So C is going to be the number, and it'll be in brackets all the time. If there's no brackets, it's not a C. And it's going to follow the 2x part. So this is now plus 75. This one, you got this, minus 100. And this one plus 45. Those numbers tend to be fairly big. Okay, it's not huge to remember, but sometimes when you're trying to figure out what it is, if it's, you know, a fairly big number like 30 or more, it's probably the C value. And then D is the number at the back. And it's always going to be plus or minus something. So D is equal to plus 3. D is equal to plus 2. And D is equal to minus 6. Okay, we're cool? If not, you know what? Pause the video, back and rewatch it. So A, B, C, and D. Let me do a couple more. Pause the video, do the questions. So A is a number up front, negative 1.5. Oh, stop. Give you a chance. Okay. So if you want full benefit of this, you really do need to stop the video. Try it yourself. It's okay to be wrong, but that's active learning, and that's going to stick in your brain. If you just sit there and watch me do this and don't write anything down and don't try it yourself, I think you're going to zone out to la la land. My voice will probably put you to sleep. So don't do that. You got to be active. All right, so here A, number up front, is 13. B is the number in front of the X, so that's going to be 3. I wanted to just show you this one. So like, they don't always need to be whole numbers. It's fine if they're a decimal. It just makes them slightly more challenging to graph. I was going to say more annoying, but well, actually that's the truth. It's still doable. Okay, same with the B here, right? It can be a decimal. And then my C's, that's the one inside my bracket. So minus 15, take the sign with it. Inside my brackets is plus 50. And D is equal to 3.2. Okay, now you're thinking, why is she spending so much time on this stuff? Well, here's the scoop. Each one of these letters does a different thing to our graph. And if you don't identify them right, it's going to be pretty much impossible to graph it correctly. I got a few more variations of this, or start messing around with stuff on you. And then we will talk about what this does. Actually, I think that'll be the next video. Okay, so as long as there's numbers in all those positions, it's not hard to do, because all you do is you really, y is equal to a cos bx minus c plus d. All you do is compare and compare and compare. And the easiest thing for us to do is just take the signs with them. So if that's a plus, like this part doesn't matter, don't stress over it. Just take whatever the sign is in your bracket, bring it along. Oh, and if you write plus 50, good. If you write just 50, that's cool too. And now we're going to give you a little, excuse me, some variations. I'm going to write that first. That's our general one. Either memorize that or that should be on your formula sheet. What if I give you an equation? Y is equal to cos 3x plus 60 minus 4. And I want you to find A equals B equals. There, I'll put them like that so I don't make them so squishy. We have a problem. Maybe. There's supposed to be 4 numbers. There's supposed to be A, B, C, and D. I've only got 3. Does that mean that this turns into the A because it's the first one? Nay, nay, my friends. Look at how it lines up. This is your B. This is your C. This is a D. So B is 3. C is 60. And D is minus 4. Remember, take your sign with you. But there's nothing out there. But wait, there is. Hold on. My highlighters and fun stuff out. You know that every single thing, every variable has got an understood 1 out in front. Oh, it even looks green. So it's 1. That would be amazing if you can remember that. Okay, that's cool. But you could write it down, but you could just learn it. How about that? Because if you think about it, 1 times anything, right? This is multiplying because they're side by side. 1 times anything doesn't change our value. If we try and put any other number there, it's going to mess everything up. The most common thing that people try to do, well, it's a 0. Well, if I put a 0 there, guess what? Everything, well, I guess just this part's all going to disappear. So it's a 1. So if A is missing, So for A, use 1. We'll keep that our list going. All right, so let's try it again. Oops, I want to use the same number, 15x plus 40. All right, pause the video and figure out what A, B, C, and D are. Got it? All right, I am going to do put that right there. You could rewrite that on top of every question if there was room. We can see clearly that A is 5. We can see clearly, right? A is a number out in front of the word coats. B is going to be the number in front of the X, and it's 15. The trick is whether this is a C or a D. The easiest thing to remember, if it's in brackets, it's a C. So C is plus 40. So if it's within the lovely curly brackets, it's a C. If I didn't have that bracket, or that one, I'll do an example like that right away, then it would be a D value. So it's all about the brackets. If there's a bracket, it's a C. Well, what number can you add to something and it doesn't change the value? Think of it this way. Graduation's coming. I'm going to give you some money. Now, so let's say you have $100 left in your bank account and I give you your present and you deposit it for you. And you look in your bank account and you still have $100. I gave you bupkis. I gave you 0. So D in this case is equal to 0 because it's the only thing that you can tack on the end without changing the value. So if D is missing, use a 0. I like my marker and my highlighters. Let's try it again. Actually, I'm going to put a couple down. Oops. All right, I'll screen for you. Last one. Okay, so pause the video. Okay, supposed to say shut off the camera, but that doesn't make any sense. So pause your video, give it a shot. All right, let's do this. I have faith. So if we compare it, my number out front is 3. So that's my A. Ah! Sorry, that is my A. A equals A. A is minus 3. How do you guys want to do this? Excuse me. I think, for me personally, it's more effective because I got a bunch of these to do. Let's do all the A's at once, and then we'll go through and do the B's. And I find it, I don't know, I just find it better. It works for me because then I'm looking at one thing at a time. So when I look at the beginning of this, there's no number there. So if we look on our list, if A is missing, use 1. So A equals 1. Okay, well, that's easy because there's a 3. Okay, not creative. There's another 3. In here, you're missing it. So when A is missing, use a 1. Because 1 times sine x is just sine x. Okie dokie. B is the number in front of the x, like after cos, but in front of the x. We didn't talk about that one yet, but you know what? Just like before, there's an understood 1 there. We don't write it because we don't need it, but it's there. So that is going to be 1. And the reason it's 1 is because we can do this. This is multiplying. So when we need to, I don't know where this sits on your screen, so I'm going to move that up. Put something in when it's missing and it's multiplying, we just put a 1. Okay. Oh, look, here we go again. There's nothing in there, so we put a 1. Oh, here we go. In front of the x, this one's easy. I hope you're getting these right? If you're not, come see me. There's 4. Oh, and there's 4 again. And there's nothing in there, so we can put a 1. So actually, I'm going to do this. So, sorry, if B or A is missing, use 1. Okie dokie. Now, C is the number in the brackets, so after the x. So in this case, it's going to be 10. Here we get tricky. There's no brackets, so this is not C. You must, let me write that. You have to have brackets. To have C. So I'm just going to tell you it's 0. And then, my page is so messy. Okay, I'm just going to skip down to the bottom and just rewrite this. So that was a cos 1. So y is equal to a cos bx minus c plus d. What is the only number that you can subtract from something and not change the value. Just like I'm going to your bank account, you have $100. You say, yes, Joanne, you can take out some, I don't know why you'd say this, but it's okay to take out some money. So you have $100. I say, yes, I'm done. I've taken out my money. And you go and you look, you have $100. Well, I didn't take anything. I took out 0. So when it's either the addition here or the subtraction, you can substitute, or substitute's not really the right. Use 0 as a place value, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to put that. You guys don't get seasick from me moving stuff around. So if C or D is missing, it's a 0. If A or B is missing, use a 1. All right. So if we go to this one, there's no brackets. No brackets, no C. Done. Aha. But this one does have brackets. So that means this is my C value. So look at the difference between that. The only difference, so I'm talking about these two. The only difference is that set of brackets. This 4 is a B no matter what. But to tell where this is a C or a D, it's all about the brackets. So if it's in brackets, it's a C. If it's not in brackets, it's a D. I might as well put that here. And then you get to the deceptively simple y is equal to sine x. Okay, well, have we got brackets? Nope. Okay, no brackets, no C, done. All right, so then the only thing left is our D values. So D is the stuff at the end. So we got +3. And we already established that there's no C, so this +10 at the end is my D value. I keep writing the plus. You don't need that. Don't need that there. Would just be fine. Here we go. No brackets. That's going to be an 8. No, that is an 8. It's going to be our D value. This one, my D belongs at the end. But there's nothing back here. And the only thing I can add to an equation and not change the value is going to be a 0. And the same thing here. There's no plus or minus value back there, so it's going to be 0. So if I were to rewrite this, okay, make it look scary. No, I'm not sure. This is the same. As that. So this one, this 0, and this 0 are all understood. So you have to be able to put those ones in there. All right, not sure how long this video was, but I think that's enough. If you need more practice, come talk to me, and I can help you. If you need to review this video, please do. All right, have a lovely evening.